Just like rice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, you just have to imagine the chili flavor.
Yeah, that's right.
No. Anyway, I'm going to talk about Fireplaces. And this is another book that I basically got for free. I was just filling a bag from a library book sale, but they had paid $28.95 for it.
And you
Wow.
paid
And it's like
probably
a
50
glorified
cents, 20 cents.
magazine. But
Yeah.
it is better than the last book that I reviewed. Again, this is the kind of thing you might read in between commercials or whatever. It's not something worth really paying any money for, but
No, it doesn't have any ads inside of it, right? Okay, so that's
at least yeah. But
But it's not hard
I
copy.
was drinking my smoothie and I ran out of blueberries, so I'm using up my Saskatoons, which I don't like as much.
Yeah, there's a big
And-
difference. But they're a lot better than choke cherries. You ever tried choke cherry smoothie? That might be still hard to sell.
But it gets in my teeth a bit. Anyway, page 6, there's a Loki fireplace, which would be absolutely frightening to have.
Does it have
Nobody
big horns on the top of
Nobody
it?
would want that.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's kind of
Scary.
Yeah, okay.
Your child will have nightmares.
It's not like marble. It doesn't have the big horns on it.
I guess I could
knock your
show
eyes
you.
out.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it would take a special breed to appreciate that.
Yep. This is the kind I like. I like that kind of fireplace.
So what is it?
Like the French sort of.
The one on the right, right? Oh, the left one. Yeah, that looks very kind of like down home.
Yep. But this is more like what I'd. It's
Wow,
sort
that
of the
one's fancy.
idea that
looks
I'd
like
wanted.
it's in a church
Because
or something.
what I wanted to have originally when I was younger is I was determined I was going to make a hill home. And so kind of like a hobbit home, but with the one side of it would be facing a view and it would just be all windows, and with a deck that went out, it was going to be fantastic. And the floor...
We could have done that up at Victoria Beach.
Yes. And the floor would be... that he knew what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
The floor would be that... what's that kind of rock called again?
Slate, maybe?
No, it's not.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The hexagonal stuff, is it basalt?
Oh, yeah, it's basalt.
Yeah.
So the type of stuff that you will find south of Victoria Beach, and actually
Which-
Victoria Beach just wouldn't be exposed, I suspect. But it's on Briar Island, south.
Yes.
Well, it's actually, they say
And-
west there, and also the Giant's Causeway in the
In
northeastern
Ireland.
part of Ireland.
Yeah. So it's this kind of rock that's like hexagonally shaped or whatever. It's
Yeah.
really cool. And so the floor was going to be all that. And because it would be uneven, even because it would be the natural floor, and it would be cold, but I don't care. I would just wear slippers. But I'd have to put a... Anyway, oh my gosh, I got talking about my dream house. And I'm supposed to be reviewing this book. But
Well, I
my
mean,
dream house is awesome.
It's probably a whole lot better than,
Than the book.
Right, so, and believe me, just the site that you're talking about, like Victoria Beach, that's the one that got away for us, right? Because it was only like 100,000. Yeah, it was a while back, but not that long ago.
Oh.
15 years ago maybe, and didn't have a great house on it, but we could have fixed it up. There was lots of room. I think it was 16 acres or something like that.
Yeah.
And it went up to the top of the, I guess they call it the North Mountain.
Yeah. Well, we can go look into it.
And it
see who
had
owns it.
views.
See who
I
owns it.
suspect there it had views in 3 directions. But,
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
I think you maybe see the Bay of Fundy from there. But definitely, there was a view down to
Anyway, we'd looked at Briar Island too, because I wanted that hexagonal sort of rock for the floor, for the main floor of this. And
I
then,
did something similar there. It was 16 acres, went up to the top
Yeah, they
of
did.
the
so I could
island.
have done it there.
Yeah.
But Briar Island, it was
It was
kind of
briery.
windy.
It was briery.
It wasn't what I'd expected.
Yeah.
It looks cool in pictures.
That's
anyway.
one island name that
Very
just
fitting.
place name.
Yes.
It's very.
But in my dream house, there's a fireplace, and it goes up. There's a like the floors here, and then it goes up a kind of a curving staircase, and then there's in the middle there's a fireplace that doesn't look like this one, but it's a similar sort of style. So it looks like the trunk of a tree, but fossilized, so it looks like rock tree.
Okay.
Yeah. But then with some branches that come out for support on the ceiling too. And this is just clear glass rails to a loft, bedroom and library up here. So that's what the dream house had. But
Wow.
I know it was going to be great.
Both of those things look different and fantastic.
Yeah.
Sometimes things look different and they don't look that good.
And I love this fireplace too. That is awesome. It reminds me of somebody. Well, I'll show you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
Just fitted rock.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. But it reminds me of a friend had, her husband had somebody do a fireplace for them, and it looked amazing.
It was a similar kind of principle,
Yeah, it was
kind
a
of
rock
fitted
sort of
rock.
thing. It was
It's
so
like
awesome.
Megalithic Mycenaean.
And I love that. Even though I'm looking at the picture and I'm like, what do all of these metal things, what are they doing there? But it still looks cool to me.
Yeah, it's a little busy, but what the heck?
I like this.
I kind of like busy too.
And I like this one, because you know why.
Oh,
Yeah, the dog gets a doghouse near the warm fireplace. Isn't that wonderful?
yeah, that's very nice. Yeah.
They love their dog.
Yeah. It's not right next to it, so they're not looking to.
Burn their dog?
No.
No. And I was thinking of having a chimney sort of thing.
Chimney?
Yeah. For,
Eh?
yeah.
Is that Spanish or something like that?
Yeah, you can read about it if you want.
Well,
I'll put the bookmark here for you.
yeah, I won't be able to read it
There.
now because I don't have my glasses. I've got 20/20 vision for driving, but anything else, I need some sort of.
So I wouldn't recommend this book. It's
well,
by Jane Gitlin.
Gitlin.
Yeah. But I really didn't pay much of anything for it, so it was okay.
Yeah. Don't regret it.
Nope. But now I was going to say that just in case I post the last video, which I hope I don't, but if I did, or if I do in the future, because sometimes I post things and I don't realize I post them, and if I do, whatever. But I got a little bit upset in the last video, and I didn't quite mention why I was. See, I'm trying to work through. Have a lot of menopausal depression that I've been trying to work through, and but I'm actually feeling better going out hiking every day and writing the haikus and stuff.
Hiking haikus, we call them, right?
Yes. But I actually didn't want to say that until I published the book, but well, I guess
sorry.
this is another one I guess I won't post. But anyway,
Sorry about that.
so
I gave away the secret.
yeah, you tend to. But anyway, I wanted to mention that why I was so upset hearing about the woman being interviewed today on the CBC talking about children and how to try to get them to think positive about things rather than focusing on negative things or whatever. And it's because what the authorities were trying to say is that anybody who is looking at any sort of downside or anything negative is acting like a child. That's what they were trying to say by that. It was
because
deeply
they did say,
offensive.
like, doesn't matter if it's kids or adults. this. You know, they can take home something from this. Weren't they saying something like that?
I don't know what
Yeah,
they
it
were
was
saying.
just
It doesn't
blah, blah,
matter
blah.
what they were. What
Yeah.
they were actually meaning was obvious.
Yep.
So it was offensive. And
Offensive and dangerous.
dangerous.
Adults have got to actually behave like adults. In other words, think like adults and then act like adults. Responsibly. To themselves and to the whole world, frankly. That's what COVID is about.
I mean, honestly,
It's
I was
being
just
responsible
I
to the
just
whole
finished writing a poem about a snake we saw. We saw 2 snakes yesterday.
Two
But
snakes,
I
both
wrote
bull snakes, and
a
apparently they're
poem
fairly
about-
rare here.
I haven't looked that up, so I don't know what kind of snake they were. But that's what James thinks. So
Well, that's
anyway,
what we got someone to check the internet for us, so it's not someone that actually saw what we saw. So that's what the guess we're going. Well, I'm going. It could be totally wrong.
so I wrote this poem about a snake, and it was in a currant bush at Alexander Wilderness Park, and it was just about to eat a bird, possibly 2 birds,
Yeah.
who were preoccupied. They were I didn't even see the snake. All I was focused in on the birds because I'm a bird person, so I was hearing the birds, and I recognized that it was a mating kind of call that the male was making, because, well, it's, if you're used to hearing it, you know what it is. So anyway, they were about to mate, these 2 birds, and they were having a great time.
Fortunately, he called
And-
in a third party.
But because they were distracted,
Yeah.
the snake was going up to get them. He was really quiet, and he didn't move very fast
Very
at
well
all.
camouflaged.
So he was doing a great job.
You know.
And I didn't see him at all, but then James, didn't see the birds somehow, and it's like
Well,
they're making a lot of
Pauline
noise.
was over
but
on the
I don't know.
left-hand side. The birds were on the left-hand side of the bush. There's no way I could have seen.
He only saw the snake, and so, like, he must have been thinking I was watching the snake, but I wasn't. I didn't see the snake at all. I was watching
No,
the birds.
I knew you didn't see the snake.
Oh.
I was looking for birds, and I saw a face. I'm going, that's not a bird face. I've seen lots of snake faces because I was born in Africa, spent 7 of my
yes,
first 10
that's
years
why.
there.
I wasn't raised around snakes, so I don't see them as well. That's probably it. But anyway,
Well, it's because after my cataract surgery, I got 20/20 vision. So, yeah, I had a stroke. Anyone who, in my family or stuff like that, who's worried about my vision, it is darn tootin' good. Doesn't matter. What the stroke took away maybe 5%
yeah,
of my
he was on
field
a
of vision.
medication which increased his likelihood of having a stroke. It happened.
And yeah, so as they said, as I knew, and as they said
They've been
at the hospital,
they've been waiting for
it was a mild,
yeah.
very mild. I think they said very mild stroke. It's a very mild stroke. It doesn't affect the way I see things a little bit when I'm reading. It cuts a little bit off my left hand. Like I like looking at a whole line.
All right. So anyway, I'm watching the birds. Eventually, I see the snake, but the birds, I don't think they saw the snake at all. They
Until
saw
you got
us. They
closer. Yeah.
they went.
They had no clue what they were
But
fleeing.
honestly, people can be like that. You
Yeah.
have a lot of fun, or like me, I was just in love with the birds, being in love, right? And I didn't see the snake.
Yeah.
But it doesn't pay to,
Hey, we're having lots of fun.
yeah, just go out and have lots of fun, and then,
all of a sudden
all
you're
of a
in the
sudden it's
jaws,
done.
and then next the
That's no fun
stomach
at
of
all.
the snake
so
alive. Like, wow, this ain't that much fun.
Anyway.
Ignorance is bliss until you realize what's really happening, and then it ain't bliss. Innocence is bliss too, until you realize what's really happening.
Anyway, so James had a book to review, and I cut him off while I was ranting on about the CBC.
Hey, I was willing participant there. So hard times for these good times. Yeah. So I just phoned my brother. Got a PhD in English, and what he wrote his dissertation on was Charles Dickens.
Did
So yeah, so I mentioned I just finished hard time, and he was almost like saying, "Well, you just went through hard time," because he was saying that was close to the worst thing Dickens ever wrote. So Dickens apparently was sick when he was putting it together, something like that. That's one of the last things he wrote, even though he survived. I think this book was published as a book, not as a magazine serial. 1854. Let's see. Yeah, Hard Times appears weekly and is published in book form, 1854. So I got it exactly right, but yeah. And he died in 1870. So this 16 years before he died, but he didn't do many books. I think it was Great Expectations, Our Mutual Friend. He got maybe halfway through The Mystery of Edwin Drood before he died. Let's see if and he published a fair number of books. He did, like Little Dorrit is another book that came afterwards. But that's not many books, like for a while there, he was putting out a book a year, sometimes even more per year. So, so he was a little bit sick, and now things start to come clear. I couldn't see much structure in it. And my brother was saying he maybe only wrote 60% of what he wanted to write. He wanted to write maybe a 500-page book. Maybe 2/3 what he wanted to write. And he wrote maybe a 350-page book. So that makes a difference. But I could see that the flow of the thing was more or less what he would do ordinarily. Like he could do dialect in an interesting kind of way. When I was a kid, I didn't like dialect that much. Like Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, I like those novels, but I'm going, I don't understand what they're saying, because he was trying to do it in Southern dialect, or in the case of Jim, the slave, runaway slave, it's like Southern black dialect. I couldn't understand a lot of it, but I've gotten to the point now where once you're reading Chaucer and been exposed to old English, like Anglo-Saxon, I can take that stuff. I can take it. So he does a pretty good job. He always did a good job with that stuff. Anyway, do I recommend it? I don't care if it's maybe the worst thing or close to the worst thing Dickens ever wrote. It comes recommended. I like Dickens as a writer, and I think he deserves to be liked by pretty well anyone who wants to read English, whether they're English or not. But don't buy it. Get it from the library. Every self-respecting library should.
Yeah, and that's the sort of thing that people probably don't borrow from the library. You should be safe to borrow that if you are borrowing from the library right now, if you insist on doing so. But honestly, right now,
who's going to be reading?
Nobody will be reading. But I don't see why anybody needs to be borrowing from the library right now. Honestly,
no, unless other things to do.
Yeah.
But if you do, just have it sit in your house for 5 days or whatever.
Hope for the best if you want to be gambling. I don't know. Anyway, that's up to you.
Yeah.
But it's also...
I'd wash my hands after using it every time.
I do think that it's important to try to find positive things in bad situations or whatever when you find...
So just don't make them up.
I'm
Actually
not
find
saying
real
that,
things.
I'm not totally putting down the woman who was interviewed or the CBC in saying that exactly. But the fact that they gave 2 reports over a short period of time talking about the man who had died while hiking, Calgarian who died while hiking in Kananaskis country, it says to, it's kind of discourages people from going hunting, going hiking, which I don't know why I said that.
We don't want to encourage people to go hunting.
Well, if you're going to eat meat and you're going to...
If you're actually going to eat the meat, and preferably bow hunting?
I don't know. Good luck. I'm not gonna tell anybody what they should or shouldn't eat. It's just,
You're just
you know,
doing it for fun.
if maybe eat less meat than you would have in the past, and if it happens to be venison or something instead of hamburger, I don't.
It's probably going to be better for
It'll
you
be
than
healthier for
eating
you
a lot of
probably,
antibiotic stuff.
So anyway, and healthier for the Cargill employees. So anyway, what was I going to say? If you want to accentuate the positive things in life, then try to find things that you like to do, like hiking. Like for me, hiking is, it really lifts my spirits. And it's great exercise and gets us out finding things like snakes and inspiration for poetry or whatever.
Yeah. I've done running. I much prefer hiking to running.
So, and if you think about it, the CBC has been encouraging people to go get haircuts and go out to get masks from Tim Hortons and
just
McDonald's.
Go to a restaurant. They always say.
And,
well, not always.
It's,
social distancing, but people don't do
people
social
don't
distancing.
social distance, so it's like
they don't even do it at a hospital. Why would they do it
not,
at a restaurant?
I mean, some people do, but not everyone. So if not everyone's doing it, then I mean, it's sort of like vaccination. You know, if everyone gets the vaccination, then everyone's probably going to be fine. But then if a few people decide not to get vaccinated, then you might end up having some things that haven't popped up in a long time just popping up.
Now, can we talk about street wheelers? You want to talk about it?
No, you can talk about it if you want to.
So I think they had their shindig on official. This I hope it's on official. The city needs to this weekend.
Yeah, we heard it.
Yeah,
but
it helped that it was quite a bit cooler than it normally is.
James went out to see if anybody was watching because
I
was like,
really
man, if people are out there watching, these guys need to get charged.
I was getting ready to blow a gasket because I was afraid I'd see. But I got to the corner of 13th Street and 3rd Avenue, and I looked west and I didn't see anyone actually out in the lawn chairs and stuff like that. And I go, I'm impressed. I looked to the east and I saw 2 people, and I guess that's allowed. Maybe should be allowed to their friends or relatives or something like that. Hanging on the corner of Dulux paint and stuff like that. Yeah, that's okay. I saw maybe half dozen people. Maybe one in a group, one group of 2, one group of 4. Or in front of St. Pat's, something like that. Maybe only 4 people. And I'm impressed, Lovebird. I'm impressed you didn't succumb to the temptation to get out there and behave like stupid Americans. You know?
Well,
where people are, in the United States, it would have, I'm afraid, been wall-to-wall people.
Do they do that in the United States? I have no idea.
Street work, well, it's similar type of stuff, like going to the beach, wall-to-wall people. No masks.
Yeah, no. There has. Anyway.
I'm not sure if the people should have been romping their cars around. I did see 2 cars in one parking lot watching the show. And I'm going, that's okay, you know. Families should be allowed to hang together, whatever. And you know, if people want to see, they're talking about having drive-in movies again. I don't have too much of a problem with that, so long as it's a family. Or they talk about having 2 families together nowadays. You know, you get a designated neighbor or something like that. Yeah, so long as people aren't cheating with it.
But yeah, I mean, you have to find something to do that makes you feel a little bit happier about living, or.
Now, as it turns out, we like reading.
Well,
Yeah.
we do.
Mhm.
So yeah,
And
we read a lot inside. But
I don't understand
I don't
people who
like
don't like
being
reading.
inside in the summer.
No. So
I
what we
like
do is
living outside in the summer. I like every part of my life being outside in the summer. I prefer to sleep outside in the summer, but unfortunately, I am living in maybe not the best neighborhood to be sleeping outside in the summer. So,
yeah.
um, but we hike and that's good. And I don't. It's not.
We
It's
found
not
places
nearly
where
as
they're
dangerous as, say, going to a nail salon or going
to
to
a
get
nail
a
salon.
haircut. Or
What is
going to
that
get-
about?
Why do you need to
They've
do
had a
that
couple
sort
of
thing?
outbreaks in Ontario, I think
And-
one in Calgary or Edmonton. You really need this trip? Wow.
I mean, honestly, there's some risks. If you're hiking in some places, you might slip and some scree, and there you go.
and
right?
you're not visiting on
But-
other people.
Yes.
Unless people are risking their lives trying to save you.
Well, and there were. Apparently with the guy, there were some people trying
That
to
was
save
very
him, but-
dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's their decision to do that too, right?
And it's a rare
Where-
occurrence.
Yeah, it's
First time
not,
I've ever heard about someone like
Yeah, like we go out hiking all the time, and so far still alive. And we've done some dangerous hikes.
reasonably. We rarely do the extreme.
We rarely do those.
It's usually no more than one.
Usually.
There you go.
Yes.
The one that we got on that wasn't, I read the map incorrectly. That was the one about that. I think it was kind of become extreme or something.
Well, we've done some stuff where maybe it's a little bit adventurous, but usually once we, you know,
Well, it's our policy not to do anything more than moderate.
well, I don't know what Lake is rated.
Well,
I
we
can't
did that
remember.
before.
But
I
we
ran
did
into
that when
trouble
we
with my
were,
back.
yeah, before James ran into trouble with his back. We'll see if we can do that again.
My
don't
doctors
know if
told
we-
me I could do it, and
Yeah.
he knows he's a hiker.
Because we
A
did
former doctor.
goat hunt, and that's about the same kind of.
Crip Lake's way more
Strenuousness?
dangerous than that.
Well,
It's
it is.
strenuous.
It's the same kind of strenuous, but Crip Lake's more dangerous because you have the cable hold thing. But honestly, the cable hold part wasn't as scary for me as
Going up the ladder.
the ledge where there's just
Well,
then a drop.
There was one guy coming back. I didn't think he was going to make it back. I was waiting for him. You'd already gone over.
It actually isn't that scary.
His legs were
You
shaking.
just have to, it's probably best if you just watch the rock wall sort of and try not to
not
look
look
down.
down
You don't want to look
left
down
if you're
because
coming back.
I mean honestly, the ledge is wide enough to
It
walk
is.
on.
Mhm.
And so you shouldn't have any problems. It's just psychological.
Mhm.
So as long as you don't look down, you're going to be able to walk. There's no way that you can't walk straight on that ledge. It's not that narrow. So anyway,
There's this guy coming back. I thought he was going to get marooned up there because his legs looked like jelly,
I know. Yeah, don't look down there. That's all.
And if you got acrophobia, just don't go up.